Alrighty. Hello, folks. Let's go ahead and do this terrible idea. Why not? What can possibly go wrong? Okay. So, never actually played this before is the weird part. I've heard about it every now and then, but yeah, never actually fully gave it a go. Just kind of heard the jokes and liked the music, so we'll see how this goes. Also, hi there, Mr. Cow. How's it going? How's your apocalypse so far? Seem going to go on a limb and say either ghosts or goblins? Nah, this is a game about accounting. Alright. Okay, so apparently having some kind of Dark Souls start here, getting up to some... Come to think about, what were they doing naked in a graveyard? Okay. Alright, that's a shoot button. For some reason we throw spears. Already I'm liking this game. And apparently armor drops? Like, I know that there's a breakable armor system in this, so... So that should be interesting. Your mod that replaces this guy with a Roarin'. This is true. And hi there, Mr. Vale. How's stuff going? Fireballs, apparently? Oh, and apparently... Okay. That's good to know. Apparently you can only throw so many of them at once. So would like to get rid of that crap as soon as possible. Some sweet music, though. And dead immediately! Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and say that that's probably an improvement. Oh god, it's still making me keep these crappy fireballs. These suck! Alright. Okay, never mind. Apparently that suit of armor is not what I needed. Alright, good. Knife. Sure. Fine. That works. How knife is better than spear? I mean, it must be a Monsuno game, quite frankly. Does this give me armor? What gives me armor? Friggin' rapidly nakedizing beard man. Did that give me armor? No. Wait, wrong button. That was entirely just the wrong button. That was my bad. So Mr. Cavalry, yeah, no, he's here. Then Jeff Brown asked me what the back cover copy of Crestfall is, so it's time to pretend to be a copywriter. Oh crap, he forgot the back cover? Alright, well, getting a general gist of how the spawning works in this. Get out of here, Michael Jackson. Friggin' thrillers everywhere. Okay, so as far as I can tell, throwing seems to have some degree of priority over their attacks, so at least there's that. But they seem to just spawn right under you, so that's not ideal. I mean, you'd think this guy would have just gone around the graveyard instead of trying to get busy in here, but oh well. Well, this is going fantastically! But no, truth be told, there's actually a whole bunch of NES games that I've been that I wanted to try for a while, and this has been on the list. Like the most seriously, what is she doing to him in there? There's no way this is PG. But anywho, like truth be told, the NES thing I've played the most of all things has been Ultima. I want to say it was Ultima 5. It was like either 3 or 5. It was one of them. It was one that starts with a fortune teller. Couldn't really tell what was going on most of the time, but you know what? It was a neat game. And I've been meaning to actually go through and give that another go. Nope, wrong direction. Ah. See, it's funnier to think if it was probably her suit of armor and he arrived at the graveyard to do his in his red thong. Yes. Know some good NES games? Alright. See, still need to beat this, but I'm losing my computer, kind of puts a damper on. Oh, you lost your computer? I mean, actually, I think this is on that the original PSP disc I sent over. I mean, I think it was on there. There were a bunch of NES games on there. Plus a NES emulator. Yeah, that one was my fault. And, okay, apparently those don't have as much priority as I thought. Lost near everything? Yeesh. Has there been more loss as of recently? Alright, come on. Come on. 2, 3. Oh, he gave me the crappy fireballs. These are so terrible. See, like, if they lingered or something, that'd be one thing, but... And, okay. Cannot change direction mid-air, good to know. Dang it, Michael Jackson, stop killing me! Let's see, favorite Famicom's are Zanuck and Rekka. Haven't played the first 3 Castlevanias, but really into SG. What? Alright, time to get busy in a graveyard again. Yeah, I don't know. Have not heard of those, to be honest. Zanuck sounds like a medicine. Alright, so, think I'm seeing a possible exploit here in terms of don't kill the zombies. Like, if they're around. Seems like... Oh, that bird. That bird can just suck it. I could be wrong, but this feels like a limit of 3 zombies at any given time. Want to send you a clip of the final boss jumping through walls and shooting everything? Okay. The one about Spaz Boat. See, like there's no best pair of undergarments to wear in a demon-infested graveyard. Wait, doesn't H.P. Lovecraft's Historical Society sell panties with the Elder Sign on them? What? They do? Oh, that's amazing. So, are all these suits of armor that they're dropping just, I'm assuming they're just points? Because it's weird that they make a specific point to point them out. But yeah, funnily enough, my brother and I actually had a NES back in the day, but I didn't really know. Wait. What? What? Apparently that can happen. That's pretty cool. So I guess if you throw a bunch of fireballs at a grave, you turn into a frog? Is there a way to swallow your own tongue? I mean, if you fold it backwards hard enough, probably. Heard of a medieval torture method, or not medieval, but like, friggin', I think it was Roman or something, that they would just, like, clip the thingy under the neck and force somebody to choke on their own tongue or something like that. But then again, they had a whole lot of really messed up stuff for that. Alright, so it feels like precision's the way to do this one. Except for that part where apparently there's a little delay in that. Yeah, okay. Well, that was the wrong subject. Okay. Yes. I mean, how to put your pants? Well, if you're a politician, apparently you put them on completely wrong, so, yeah. Does anybody ever put their pants on one leg at a time? God, no, they don't. Yet every single election, there's a bunch of a-holes sitting around, I put my pants on one leg at a time, then you're a freak. I don't know what to tell you. You put your pants on both legs at a time, sir. Alright. Alright. Let's do this all careful-like. This guy's armor's the worst. Now that I think about it, you know what? You think over in TO, the fact that Gildas is the one that gets turned into a zombie is by any chance a reference to the fact that there's a guy with a beard here? He's the literal only knight with a beard in the entire game. Wow, this boss sucks. All right, well he's dead. I mean, this is why he wore the Speedo. He just came here to go for a swim. What the hell is this now? Wow. Okay. This game might take you 20 hours to beat it. Well, this is a one-off. Let's see. On your arms, can we talk about how every zombie has bright blue hair, white face man, and red mouth? Is the clown graveyard? This isn't the clown graveyard. This is the Michael Jackson graveyard. Clearly. Okay, so those things don't die. Good to know. Sweet music, though. Oh, what is that? What even is that? Never got far in this. Let's see. Remind the audience I got all 4 endings in Castlevania 3. Well, dang. Also, despite the fact that there's a continue option, it doesn't seem to actually let you continue. Or at least I can't go up and down. You're gonna love playing it over and over again? Oh, yeah. Because this is Thriller night. Nothing's gonna save you from the fact that these fireballs suck balls. Alright. I mean, if I collect enough armor pieces, can I just craft myself some armor, or what? Wait, you can just continue in the menu? That's what I was trying to do, but it wouldn't... Wait, are you supposed to do left and right instead of up and down? Is it one of those? Dead. Ah, this should be fun. This should be fun. I will say, I did get pretty far and I want to be the guy, so at least have some experience in this. Or you didn't bend your controller up and down? No, I definitely bound everything. Ooh, give me that dagger. Nope. Nope. I died for my knife. Actually, speaking of that, apparently, never mind. That's a dark topic. We're not going there. By the way, speaking of weird news, did you guys hear? Did you guys hear about? I forgot to mention this yesterday. Some psycho apparently tried to derail a friggin' train into one of the 2 medical ships the U.S. has. It's like apparently the guy was convinced that there was some kind of global conspiracy he was going to uncover by destroying the boat. So he insisted that somebody was, I guess, trying to take over the government or something like that, and was somehow going to prove it by running a train over a bunch of doctors via boat. I don't know. But yeah, he did actually derail the train, but apparently just completely whiffed on how far it would actually go, so it kind of just splattered on the ground, and that was it. But still, just the fact that somebody was trying that is pretty jacked up. Hell no, I haven't heard of that. Yeah, no, it's weird. It's friggin' bizarre. See, did the demon cause the dead to rise, or did they have to fight clowns to get their romantic picnic on the way in? I'm gonna assume the first one. I mean, it seems like they would have hardly had a chance to get... Well, see, I'm saying they would have hardly had a chance to get into any kind of funny business here, but clearly all it takes is getting slapped a little bit to lose your entire suit of armor, so... Yeah. But yeah, so that whole thing was apparently over in LA that someone tried to destroy the Mercy. I'll try the upper route again, even though this seems like absolute suicide every time, but okay. We'll try it. I can't really say it's any safer or better, or screw that bird. Alright. Nice. Okay, so apparently it takes either 3 or 4 to make that happen. Now, if I... Okay, so I can't make that dude appear again, but apparently you can duck. I've heard some folks complain about the jumping controls in this. Honestly, they seem pretty solid. Ah. Should've just waited. Meet me in the clown graveyard next to the fire-breathing flowers and ghosts with shields. Bring your red Speedo. What every man wants to hear. Alright. Yeah, can't change your director? Yeah. See that? Dang it. Friggin' get out of here, you weird flying fleshlights. I guess they're ghosts. Oh, that's just mean. Alright. You know what? That's not what they are at all. These are clearly burritos. And that's... yeah, I hit duck too early. Or too late, sorry. What was that? Is jumping in that armor I don't think is a real knight. I think it might be a larper. I don't know, you could do some pretty sweet maneuvers in armor. Yeah, so... I'm hitting all the... I think you can see the little thingy on the bottom... yeah, I think you can see the thingy on the bottom right. I'm hitting all the buttons. They're bound. Oh, there we go. Bizarre. What material were they made of? I mean, you know, friggin' steel and iron and all that, but, still. Yeah, and you know what? If this lets you continue like this, no problem. I thought we had to start over from the very beginning every time it happened. Plastic. I mean, this guy's thing is made entirely of springs, I would assume. It's just set to... he's not wearing armor, he's wearing, friggin' impact armor. Like, he's expecting all these friggin' rocket like RPGs and crap coming from all these ghosts. His armor just self-destructs to make all the ghosts go away. Ah, spring steel. What? Okay. Found a random meteorite and fell seal, and I have the final rank of throw stone. Now, if it really feels like FFT? Yes. Yes, it does. It's the best way to do it. Not to mention, you know what's funny? You can actually combine that with two of the Gadgeteer abilities to up its damage to 100 and give it an AoE effect. It's pretty glorious. He's Steve from Minecraft who discovered it from Armor Lore. What? Are you mixing up a drug habit with Minecraft again? And dead. I don't know why they throw some kind of weird murder leaks at you. Everything's Minecraft? I don't know. I haven't seen any spears in Minecraft. Therefore, it can't be everything, because spears are everything. You cannot have life without pointy stick. See, AoE throws down the most metal thing ever. Or not metal, rock. The most rock and roll thing ever. Which one of those puns works? It's more rock and throw than rock and roll, though. Oh, by the way, so... a random question for y'all in case anybody happens to know, because it was bugging the hell out of me. There's this one song that would keep playing at work. It would never show up on the recently played on that particular radio station. And it was like it just bugged me because it was this. It sounded like an '80s rock song, and I thought I heard every '80s rock song there is. And honestly, it wasn't even a terribly good song. It just bugged me that I couldn't tell what the hell they were saying. And it was just like, wow, Boomer. Oh, whatever. Get out of here. But it was just, it sounded like a thunder sound, and then it was just like an over and over, just like that, with a very standard guitar riff that kind of sounded like Flash Gordon a little bit. It's very oddly specific, but again, they played it every night. Could never figure out what the name was. It was just bugging the hell out of me. If anybody happens to know. Also got a little bit of practice for doing those kinds of dodges from God, what the hell was it called? Rogue Legacy. Nice. I guess I'll just drown then. Yeah, if you're in your Speedo state, it should just bounce you out of the water. I'm drinking too much coffee. Unacceptable. There's no such thing. Rough choice of game here? Oh, yeah. But yeah, I have some other NES stuff just kind of sitting in the pile, just kind of in case. But I think it's doable. Even if I'm not terribly good at it, I'm learning the patterns. But yeah, have you guys played Rogue Legacy at all? Like, I will say how there was exactly one moment of lore in that game, and it was pretty nice. Like, the moment where they explained the title was so good. Like, I'm not even kidding. That gave me, like, that just gave me that whole, like, hair standing up in the back of your neck moment. So, do you want to be a fully armored Knight Templar or a naked bearded man in a red Speedo? It feels like the character select for Fell Seal too. Oh yeah, no, we're in this. Also, I hit the wrong button, so we're just starting over. Good to know. We've made negative progress. But yeah, so I mean, Rogue Legacy, honestly, it plays a lot like this. Except the idea is you have you start off as just this one guy going through doing a bit of a boss fight. I mean, Dark Souls, you start as a Clothed Dude or a Naked Misery Dude. Yeah, Deprived is the best one. What's funny is in a lot of cases the Deprived really is the best one because it gives you the most, it gives you the fewest wasted points. Actually, come to think of it, we should totally do Dark Souls 2 sometime. But yeah, I wanted to do kind of a shorter one today because we're working on a bit of a project. Oh hell, it's this again. We're working on a little bit of a project to make a bunch of masks for the hospital, so plan to spend most of the day doing that. But got all my cutting materials over there. Unexcused. There's no excusing. Man, these fireballs are inexcusable. Why do they suck so hard? There we go, that's better. Machine gun knife. Again, feels like a Mitsuno game at this point. But sir, why do the daggers do more than greatswords? It's fine, don't worry about it. Strength weapons don't count, they're not real. I like to imagine that he was just really picked on by weightlifters and now just takes it out in every game. Just really hate Schwarzenegger or something. Played the Dark Souls remaster beta. I realized the other day it was 2 years ago. Yeah, it's been a hot minute. It's old now. How about a gun that shoots guns that shoot knives? Huh, kinda. I mean, it's hard to beat the Borderlands thing of like, how about you reload it by your gun self-destructing and as a grenade and then just rematerializing in your hand. Although I think Saints Row had, I want to say like a battle axe knife or gun or something. There's the Landshard gun. Not a knife man, but you threw a spoon. Has a gun that shoots bees? Well, there you go. That's Nick Cage's worst kryptonite right there. Alright, if I go over to this one, will it give me the good continue? Nope. It's just the most recent continue. Worth a try. I mean, technically, Felseal has guns that shoot crossbow bolts, so there's that. Mega Man had all kinds of guns. Yeah, he had like a friggin' chainsaw gun. Very true. Actually, speaking of, Mega Man 4 is one of the ones that I had set aside for today. Alright, spawn system, work with me here. Mega Man had a gun that fired heat-seeking snakes. What? Not even surprised. That makes sense, I guess. I mean, if you want the world's most disappointing gun, you could always get the one from Lama Lana. It's like, sure, the thing could basically one-shot most bosses, but you also only got maybe 10 shots for it in the entire game. Actually, wait a minute, wasn't it like 12? Still, something like that. See, Mega Man X Collection are the only ones that had a tremendous input problem? Oh, that's why people didn't like it. That makes sense. That makes sense. Speaking of coffee, I should probably drink some. Maybe that would help here. I really don't feel like reaction speed is really the thing that's doing it here. It's really just how the spawns decide that you're allowed to climb over an obstacle. I guess that's the main benefit of this upper route, except not really, because they spawn under you all the same. It's like, it doesn't feel severe enough to say it's unfair, because you can just wait for the cooldown in between them. Oh, no, 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 don't touch that horrible meatball of terribleness. It is a meatball made of suck. See, this feels like the type of thing you could pull off. Probably should have just done Symphony of the Night or something. Really should do Symphony of the Night at some point. Love that game. Hang on. Let me read text real quick here. Last time playing X1, couldn't even dash jump. Playing emulator doesn't that doesn't give input delay. Still bought it because hell yeah, title name, but hell no, Capcom. Well, you can get your Mega Man X's from your SNES classics and all that kind of thing. I will admit I got completely stomped on like the second level of that one. And again, I've never been amazing at those, but explain to me how I can be pretty good at 20XX but be terrible at Mega Man. Because they're the same frickin' game, but just one of them is, I don't know, I guess it's just a bigger screen, there's more time to react. Wii SNES Collection has no Mega Man X? Why? And how you're good at Castlevania but suck at Mario World? Because you got more options in Castlevania. Explain to me how they've somehow, they've re-released March of the Black Queen and OB64, but only on the Wii U. And for a limited time, the Wii, but only in the Japanese Wii could you actually get OB64. It's not that it couldn't run it, or couldn't have it, or whatever else, it's just... screw everything, I guess. I don't know. Dang death leaks, get out of here! Yeah, that one had a lot of really cool interactions. Kind of made me think of what they were originally planning to do with Sonic 3 and Knuckles, if you guys played those. Yeah, it's hard to get the timing on those. Let's see, my Doom 2016 came with Doom 12 and 3, but no Doom 64. And the canon Dooms 3. Or the canon Doom 3. I heard OB64 actually did come on one of the newer ones, though. Like, it came packaged with some, like, one of the versions of Doom 3 or something like that. Because there's this guy, if anyone watches Stop Skeletons from Fighting, there's this guy that basically just looks into really obscure old crap and just kind of finds some cool little things that didn't need to be there. And Doom 64 actually came up a pretty decent bit on that one. But it was specifically like even the Game Boy Color had a pretty okay Doom port for some reason. I mean, it ran like garbage, but it existed. See, Doom and OB64 have the same plot. A portal of hell opens and demons come out, and only Debonair Quas's beautiful hair can save us. True, you just could never see it because of the helmet. Also, we'll pretend that expert dodge was on purpose. Nice. Yeah! The key was made of armor. That makes sense. Let's see, in this analogy, a Lich in a Draconite spellbook is the BFG gun. I don't know, at that point it would just be... Like, do you get a BFG that blows up the entire map? Nice. That went well. Also, I love how this isn't technically considered the second level, even though it's obviously the second level. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Let's see. The second level is DLC. What, for this? Can you imagine if they had DLC back in the day here? Or just microtransactions and crap? It's like, I'm sorry, every one of your, we've now brought the arcade to your home. It's like, every continue will cost you your life savings. Oh my goodness, this jump is such trash. Okay. Yeah, there's a weird input delay when trying to do a jump like that. I think it's because of the screen trying to figure out what to do with its different assets. Because I'm assuming it's probably just printing out new stuff as it's moving. It's just forgetting the jump. There we go. Oh, you know what this is making me think of? Has anyone here played Humans? Buy the $40 Ghosts and Goblins DLC pack to make it so when you pick up armor drops, you equip the armor. Also now comes with green Speedo color pre-order bonus. Yes. By the way, Annihilator, it might not be your sister this time. Internet issues have been happening pretty much worldwide right now. Just because there's so many people at home, stuff's getting a bit kind of, well, overloaded, from what I understand. So yeah, who knew? Wait, humans like human fall flat? No, no, no. Like picking on your sister? Alright, well, fair enough, fair enough. But no, humans like literally it's just called The Humans. It was on Genesis. It's a really interesting puzzle game. Also, I'm not sure what the point of lives is in this particular instance, considering you can just start back from the same spot. Alright, so you seem to be limited to one after the first one dies. Or maybe the second one's on a timer or something? That one's gotta be pixel perfect, I guess. And that one drops. Good to know. Put another quarter in the machine. Yes. Oh man, that should... I guarantee somebody must have done that on Twitch before. Like, oh yeah, the run will continue when somebody donates another quarter. Just donate a quarter to watch it be played. Toss a coin to your gobliner. Exactly. Oh, this route's way easier. Except it's gotta be pixel perfect there. Okay. Good to know. Designers back in the day, why were you such dicks? Also, he looks like a flashing Yoshi. To your Ghouler. No, it's to your Speedo Knight. He's just over here trying out for his modeling career. Couldn't actually figure out how to put on the armor. Oh, crap. See, back in the arcade documentary, they said that players in a month spend about 150k yen, equivalent to 28k plus dollars, to practice in high scores. I want that job. Man, somebody designing those things was a dickhead. But yeah, I plan to show off some of the other cool NES things in a little bit here. 'Cause seriously, if you never tried the Ultima on NES, it's just, while it's just impressive. That's all. It's just impressive to see the kinds of stuff that came out on the NES. See, working in an arcade that has Yago's Battle Garage. What? Battle Garaga? Is that supposed to be like a knockoff of Galaga or something? Oh, you can throw midair. Good to know. Which, I mean, I guess I kind of knew that, but for some reason I kept thinking I couldn't do it in this scenario. Weird. Gave the OST... Oh, I know, but it seems like you specifically go for games that are impossible to remember because they've got really weird names. Alright, you go to the very edge and die. Okay, beautiful. Good to know. And again, I suppose if I jump... Then again, this is also coming from somebody whose pretty much favorite series is kind of entirely named after the most obscure Queen songs that nobody has ever heard of. So, there's also that. Like, let's name it after that one that only got played in, like, one concert in Japan one time. Oh man, this'll sell like hotcakes. Because guess what? Let Us Cling Together? I should point out, you know what the funny part is? Yeah, Teo Tarata. That's the funny part. Like, the name specifically only refers to the thing in Japanese. They renamed it Wheel of Fate for the Japanese version, which sounds way cooler and makes a lot more sense, and then just kept it as a Let Us Cling Together for the English one. Who decided that? Having a passion for a game that has no fans? There's at least 1,200 of us now. Actually, yeah, the Reddit's been getting a surprising number of more people. We're almost up at 1,200 now. Yes, I know that's beyond small peanuts for anything else, but dang it! You know what? You don't know how to count? Whatever. I know how to push button, and I know how to be dad, so... that's all I need to know how to do. Dang it! Stupid laser flowers. Ogre Battle was a major song during Queen's early to mid-tours. Okay, that one, fair enough, but I don't understand... I still have no idea how they got Ogre Battle out of that song. That's one of those things that'll forever remain a mystery to me. I make it a point to listen to it every now and then to see if I can figure out what the hell Mitsuno was smoking, but no. We'll just pretend that was damage boosting. Okay, the double jump method doesn't work. So I guess going up is the idea. 12k fans in my dreams. No copyright equals game name. Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. I suppose if somebody wanted to go super niche, they could just start naming games after Psycho Stick songs. It's like, this is not a game, this is a sandwich. Then again, this is not a game, this is suffering. I'm just kidding, it's actually not that bad. Like, all things considered, it's a little bit BS, but... I don't know. Played some pretty BS stuff, this really doesn't seem that bad. First game, Hellscaper and Honest of Led G song from Konami's PS1. Alright, fair enough. Gonna go ahead and name my first album, He Is the Danger. Just name it after Gatalio. I do love that they never changed that line for the remake. It's just so good. Queen. Yeah, unlike something like, let's say, I Want to Be the Guy or whatever else, this seems like it was legitimately they didn't really know any better. They weren't going out of their way to be dicks. They probably didn't want to set up predetermined paths for all these enemies, so they just kind of bounce around. Just going for specific angles and then just going between their available patterns. Let's see, but do I Want to Be games have any original design? Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's very trolly, but to be fair, the design is pretty impressive to go and study. They do a lot of really cool stuff in that one. And yes, I mean, it does make you want to slap the creator whenever you actually play it, but go watch speedruns of it and things like that, and it's really an impressive thing to watch. Now, I say speedruns because primarily those are the ones that end up getting more attention over time. And I just hit the wrong button again. I remember 2008 when all YouTubers were doing angry gameplay videos? Are they not still doing that? I mean, I guess they're less common now. Most of those folks grew up. But no, people freaking out at the, playing some random mod designed by a 5-year-old, you know, on Roblox or something, and then just yelling and screaming how it's the most unfair thing in the world. Yeah, that's, I don't know, that's still a thing. It's almost unbelievably cringy to watch, but it most certainly exists. Oh, crap. just got word from a job that I was looking to join. They've basically shut down as well. Ever seen any AVGN videos, though? I think the last thing he did, there's some kind of like ode to old video stores. I forget if it was like a I think it was a collaboration of like AGVN and Ninja Sex Party or something like that. Something like that. I don't. It's been a minute, but it's just basically a song about blockbusters and old games and stuff like that, and they had him in there. So he's still around. I think he's just kind of gone through everything he can go through. And I'm pretty sure all their old stuff is still doing alright. Man, if this was friggin' Sonic and Knuckles or something, we could be done already. Yeah, I think as far as platforming goes, growing up, that was my my big one there. It's like I started off with Sonic 1 and Sonic 2, didn't really care for 1 that much. 2, you know, was absolutely loved it, especially with how vibrant it was by comparison. Never actually got to play 3 until a good bit later. But yeah, SNK though, that mess was amazing. The guy look like this. I just want to know what he does. Oh, you haven't seen any of them? Okay, so basically the idea was they give pretty in-depth reviews of old games, and then usually kind of overreact about all of them. There was some genuinely insightful stuff. It was decently interesting in terms of going into why certain things were designed certain ways, but yeah, I mean, it was clickbait for the time for sure. Alright. Make the jump, please. Thank you. This might actually just be... it's hard to tell. The jumps feel somewhat solid, but it's hard to quite get it. Yeah, they seem to really love their pixel-perfect jumps here. Like, I will say they usually had a pretty decent point. I mean, as far as dickish game designs go, anyone here played Bubsy? What was it? It was like Yarn Ball of Fury or something. No, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, that's what it was. Buttons! Obviously, the good one or the bad one? The one on the Genesis. Whatever you can... not the bizarre friggin' 3D monstrosity that came out after it, no. Yeah, it had some really genuinely dickish design in that, too. Did they really expect you to make that top jump and then just climb all the way down? It's just there was a lot of, hey, go really, really fast, oh wait, you died instantly because of a small piece of glass. Or, like, a little puddle that caused you to slip and fall on your face. Or, like, you just touched a smiley face and exploded. I guess Sonic kind of did that too, but it wasn't nearly as reactive. Like, it didn't... It was... take what Sonic did, right? And then just make it really zoomed in. And then you've got a lot of interesting little set-piece stuff, like the little water slides and stuff like that around the beginning I thought were pretty neat. Some of the early designs are alright, and then by the time you get to the carnival and things like that, it's just kind of dreadful. By the time you get to the train, it's just actively being spiteful. By the time you get to, hang on. Why am I... wonder if... well, that might be an idea. Heard it was supposed to take on Sonic style after it became famous. Yeah, that was kind of the idea. Again, it was okay, but the music was pretty terrible. Definitely, when I was going back and re-looking at it not that long ago, The music sucks to a really impressive degree, actually. The little voice quips get pretty annoying. Connection problems? Oh. Yeah, that's to be expected. Stuff's pretty iffy worldwide on the internet front right now. I don't know if it's in quarantine as much as absolute chokeout mode right now. Because just like the Medicare system, it was never made to have everybody on it at once at any given time. Ah. Wait, you can just do... I'm an idiot. I didn't know you could just jump through platforms. Well, crap, that makes it a lot easier. Over here trying to do all these hyper-specific jumps. Just jump through it. Wow. Man, I'm a doofus. Sorry. There was no need for that to take that long. What the hell? Why? Right, so they don't want you doing that jump that quickly. Don't jump through the platforms? Oh yeah, that sounds super doable. Hello, pointless game over. Let's do that again. Yeah, but a lot of this stuff, it seems like once you figure it out, it's not nearly as bad. Like right here. I thought it was this whole problematic thing, and... There we go. Not easy, but I know what it is. Challenge was to play this game, didn't expect him to actually do it. It just felt like it. Felt like a bit of a palate cleanser today. Been loving the hell out of Fell Seal. Just needed to do one thing different for a day. Because it feels like I haven't been doing anything else but that one for a decent bit. Alright. Okay, throw takes priority over the duck. As I was trying to duck and throw there, it didn't quite happen. I mean, there's a bunch of just older stuff I want to do one-offs of just to kind of show off. Like, the XCOM on the PS1, for example. You got a bunch of the Sonic games and all that, which I know everyone's seen probably a million times before, but you know what? They're good. They're dang good. Oh, son of a dick. Alright. Oh, well, I guess we could have just made it that way anyway. Give me boss, please. Maybe some Dark Souls 2 at some point. No! Dark Souls 2 doesn't have awesome music? Dude, it has pretty sweet music. I don't know what you're talking about. Also, for that note, like, as far as DS2 goes, I'd argue it seriously has some of the best atmosphere in the series. Like, I will say, there's nothing quite like, sure, in the first one, there's nothing quite like when you get to, you know, Londo for the first time, when you accidentally, you know, quote-unquote, blow up the boobs and cause it to turn into perpetual night there, and, you know, that's a whole amazing thing. You know, just the deafening silence in so many places. Yes, like, it's absolutely, you know, a work of art, but personally, I don't know. 2 just always stuck out more to me. Not in terms of it being overall better, but it's just the feeling was, I don't know, I felt it more relatable, I guess. I don't really know why. It just somehow nailed that hopeless feeling. But like, not a complete, not like a, you know, the place is getting invaded. Oh my God, you know, stuff everywhere, kind of hopeless. But like, this is all already over. This is over before it's begun. Everyone's just kind of trying to do what they can here. Because if you didn't know, the as of the DLC, there is a different ending. But yeah, the actual last ending, the actual like true ending of the game, if you accomplish absolutely everything in it, is basically that yeah, you're functionally immortal. You aren't going insane or anything. You know, great. Everything's all well and good, but that's it. Like, you're a king of a world that's dead. It's it's just interesting. Just, I don't know, there's something perfectly bleak about it that I love. Also, yeah, no, let's not even get into that. I don't know why that's become so popular as of, I would say lately, but I'm sure it's been a lot longer than that. But that's a good way to get on a list for a good reason. Oh, no, game, you are so mean. If you're wondering why I didn't just run to the right and go for the ladder, it's because it decided to drop a fireball right on that ladder. Also, by the way, Mr. Cat, you're still here, yeah? Because it's funny. So, I was doing this Phantasy Star 4 run, speaking of old games. It was a Blind Iron Man run as of, like, what the hell, it's been like 3 years now? Stop forcing me to pick up that fireball, please. But yeah. So yeah, that computer had died, all that kind of thing. Had transferred over to a new computer, found out that it wouldn't register the save, like it wouldn't use the save because it was, apparently the way that emulator worked was that it would read a specific file path, so I would have to just redo my entire computer to make that dang save file work. And I think I found another way to make that possible to finish again. Because I kid you not, it's probably a couple hours away from the end, and yeah. Weird place for it to end. Although, I do remember thinking that it actually was already over, considering, you know, we already had the boss that used the intro theme as its boss music, which was pretty friggin' awesome. And away we go. Yes, thank you for repeatedly reminding how long we have to go. Rude. It's like puking spiked bowling balls on people. Rude. Rude man is rude. timed the jump wrong. How's it going, Mr. Cowman? What? I have no idea what just happened there. Apparently the game decided to correct itself. It's like, nope, you fell in the water. Unacceptable. We're done here. Alright. Buttons! Why? Button! Come on, button. Make the next screen go faster. Also, why doesn't every emulator have the button overlay? Because I keep being asked to put it into different kind of runs and whatever else every now and then. As to why anybody wants that put in for Tactics Ogre, I couldn't tell you. But yeah. I don't know. For some reason, they never seem to come with it, aside from this one does. I don't know. But putting it in manually always leads to weird recording issues from my end. I'm sure there's some way that people know how to do it, etc., etc. But who knows? Man, this is a great thing to attempt when you went to sleep at like 3 a.m. Murdered by a birdie. But yeah, this still has nothing on Terraria. I don't know if anyone was here for that stream a couple years ago, but yeah, it's like as simple. Like, again, this one's difficult because it's you can tell that there were programming limitations. Like even right here, these guys are mostly difficult because of the fact that, well, they had to program them to seem aggressive, but they didn't really know how to make them stop or not block paths or things like that. So they'll just aggressively do their thing, which is, you know, well enough. But they didn't suddenly decide that your character would just explode if you didn't know where all the fuel pods were and had to go collect them. Okay, that was just weird. Wouldn't let me do the jump over the bird earlier. Kind of got locked in for that second one. Rude. Rude ghost. Yeah, that's a little bit of a mean trope, though. The whole bird slightly pecking its head over the ground in an area where you can't hit. Bad touch from Feathery Birdie Man. You know, that building kind of reminds me of the Crest building in that one mission from AC3. Was Crest the real Goblins and Ghouls? I don't know. This guy looks like how everybody imagines their building supervisor. But still, almost halfway there, you know. Little by little. I will say, for what it's worth, it's kind of neat how much the map actually lines up with what's going on here. The hell? You have to get there in some particular set of time or something? Huh. Maybe the fire wouldn't be a bad idea here. Just because it has that low firing arc. Worth a try. Oh, you know what? You guys ever played the Resident Evil on the GBA? Like the RPG one, I mean. RE Gaiden and all that, which I guess it's not really an RPG, but it's kind of an RPG. It plays like one, but it doesn't really have levels, I don't think. I don't remember right now. But it actually was a surprisingly cool idea. The guy and his friggin' spiky ball puke. Yeah, I think the game's trying to load in something there, because it freaks out with the controls. Like, I don't know if you saw that whole moving around and ducking thing. I was trying to just go down the ladder and it started going left and right and doing weird inputs. Try it again. That's just cheap, sir. Please don't do that. That was my bad. Kinda missed the ladder. Buttons, come on. One of these times I'll accidentally hit start in the wrong button there. So AFK, is this the last level? Are we winning? Clearly, we're just winning so hard that the it just resets to 0, so we're losing instead. Current plan is to stop winning so hard eventually. See if that causes more proper winning to happen. But no, doing okay so far, I think. It's not entirely bad. Again, everything that I've seen so far, it can just be chalked down to this was early design. I haven't seen anything that's just been intentionally bad. Like, I see their intent here to try to give you stuff that's flying through the windows. They're trying to give you an enemy that's more aggressive and pressures. But they don't quite do it. They've got a weapon that drops on a timer there from above. I'm not sure why. Like, these guys are aggressively trying to puke on the stairs. Oh, what the hell? That guy can shoot through walls, apparently. But no, we're on, like, the 4th or 5th zone here. We haven't gotten to the 2nd official level, I don't think. But it's kind of unclear what a level is in this. I'd say this is, like, 4th level, 1st zone or something. This is Undead Berg still. We're still trying to work our way over to Anor Londo. Supervisor, no! If it wasn't for that stupid bird. Yeah, that's... That kind of feels cheap, because then they... Again, it's just old design, though. The intent was okay, because they do limit it to 2 shots. It doesn't seem to go beyond that. So the idea is you're supposed to be able to just jump over that. But if they're too close, that just basically means you're checkmated at that point. Because you can't really outrun them. Unless you're right next to a ladder, you can't really get out of the way. Numbers mark bosses, maybe? So you're progressing towards the second boss? Yeah, I guess so. Oh, I can just hit him from here. How about that? I guess I can cheaply shoot through walls, too. Neat. Friggin' Kamehameha ogres. Alright. But yeah, still not bad. Like, it's not great, but it's not bad. Honestly, like, thinking about this as a kid, I would have still kept going here. There's actually very few things that I ever stopped playing as a kid. And most of the time it's just because there was legitimately no way I could find to progress. Right. You just keep your wings there, birdie. Yeah. Because you can't really jump left, because that just causes you to get hit already. And if you try to jump right, you get hit by the second one. So it seems like the best way is just to try and jump up if you're able to, but... It's not ideal. I really don't think they needed a ranged attack. But, oh well. Since being Sewer Shark felt hard to justify giving up on any of the game because it was bad, or insufferable, or just like a visit to the dentist to play. Fair enough. I can probably just take these guys out safely from the other side of the wall. Yeah. But yeah, no, used to also play a whole bunch of Dink Smallwood mods back in the day. Actually, you know what? I wonder if that... Let me see if that whole community is still alive. So, Dink Smallwood was this old... I think it was a SNES game? Maybe it was a Genesis game? I don't remember. But yeah, no, it was on PC as well, but it just became a DOS thing eventually, or like a basically abandonware kind of thing eventually. But yeah, it was a weird game, mostly just meant as a parody of different kind of RPGs. Like I feel like it was kind of meant to be a parody of Ultima or something like that. Because you're basically going along getting all these accolades for things, despite your character being a complete and utter just dipstick in every possible way. Dink Smallwood? Yes, that's the real name. Yeah, let me find it. And yes, it was considered pretty raunchy at the time. Alright, let me see what it came out on. Available on Android, Windows, iOS, Linux, PSP. Wait, really? It came out on PSP? What the hell? Dude, I want that on my Vita. Where's... Oh, crap. Yes. Yes! Oh, yeah! Oh, my goodness. Free Dink. Oh, this is beautiful, and it takes no space at all. Oh my goodness, I'm so happy about this. Okay, beautiful. So, apparently it's available on PSP. Web and Mac. Apparently it came out on Mac. That was the weird part. No context coffee, yeah. Weird how all these ogres have your same fashion sense. Was there just a red Speedo convention going on in town? Yeah, I mean, they probably didn't want to make it yellow for that rating. They didn't want to look like that one, like, Custer's Last Stand or whatever the hell it was called. Oh, Dink? Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, no, Dink, yeah. And it doesn't, yes, the Dink doesn't take too much space, yes. See, there we go. Make more of those jokes. Less of what almost got you banned yesterday. So, kiddo, what are you playing? Oh, you know this game where you're a guy chucking knives through birds. You know how to get banned? AC sucks. I mean, depending on who you ask. See, here's the thing, though. Are we talking about the games, or are we talking about the people that should be making more of them? Because whoever's managing the franchise right now, yeah, they kind of suck. But the games themselves are pretty good. If you don't go by Richard, you are just trying to be teased? Yes. Actually, delete them? Yeah, sure, I believe you in that later, I'm sure. I'm absolutely sure that was actually deleted. I mean, this one doesn't take the full screen. I have the mod screen up. I can actually see if it was deleted. Shows asterisk? Uh-huh. Yep, totally believe you. Wait a minute. Is it still gonna let me continue? Just so you know, if I accidentally hit, like... If I accidentally hit start and go back to the actual start, then we're just switching over to something else. But yeah. This is doable. Really, all this comes down to the RNG of these ogres here. Save state? Come to think of it, what is my save state button for this? Alright, there we go. This is just gonna be a backup save state. I'm not gonna like save state all my way through it, but just in case the continue is lost. Still can't believe they made Dink Smallwood on the PSP of all things. Although the way that they actually have it set up, that also tells me that mods can work, and in that case, oh man, there were thousands of mod scenarios for that thing. It's great. Desage Maleted. You know, I don't have a lot of nostalgia for NES games. Maybe Bobble Bobble a little. But not for, like, Mega Man 2's Heatman stage, or the Godzilla game where you walk on Mars and punch Cuttlefish in the face, or an A2 Mario level. See, what's funny is, technically speaking, I grew up with a NES in the house for a little bit, but I didn't quite understand what was going on, so ended up playing some... okay, there's a little bit more backstory to this. So, my brother always used to make fun of me whenever I played, like, FFT or any... the one time somebody convinced him to play FF7, he said it was the dumbest thing he'd ever played. Just anything RPG related, he tended to make fun of pretty severely. The funny part is, when I looked back and found the games that we actually played growing up, we played friggin' Phantasy Star, we played, like, Phantasy Star 1, we played some, what's it? what the hell's going on in this here? Oh, so like Phantasy Star 1, Ultima either like 3 or 5 or one of those. And hi there, Ninja's Boot. How's it going? It's pretty sweet, not gonna lie. Playing Phantasy Star Online too. Well, there you go. Funnily enough, Cow was supposed to be playing that if the friggin' post office didn't destroy that package. Rude. But yeah, FFT's pretty neato. Personally, always leaned more towards Tactics Ogre myself, but FFT's the one that I started with. Absolutely adore it. Though it is admittedly a little bit hard to go back to once you know the tricks. Once it's like, oh yeah, now I know that I can basically go get myself friggin' ninjas and stuff pretty much in Chapter 1 here. Can go ahead and turn everybody into a dual-wielding psychopath by the time we get to Dorder. It's like, man, it's hard not to do that. It's so tempting. Of course, that being said, now I'm playing Felseal, and it's like, oh man, I can just hire everyone in as an assassin and just go dual flash daggers and friggin' make everybody a friggin' speed god. So there's that. Done lots of challenge runs on FFT. Good to meet a fellow challenge runner there. Now, let's see, FFT I think I've done, let's see, had done an Archer SSC and... what's it? Like, it was Archer, Squire, and then had done an Iron Man run, and that was kind of about it. It's just, yeah. I ended up doing a hell of a lot more for Tactics Ogre. Don't blast me, Mr. Ogre Man. Thank you. Didn't Attack Command only run a while back? Oh, that must have been fun. Did that just boil down to gotta max out crit and evasion, or the Marquis was paying? Oh, I can imagine. Sounds like rough times. Armored Core challengers here? Oh, yes. Very yes on that, too. Yeah, okay, AC3 and Tactics Ogre of what I've done the most challenge runs of. But, still. Friggin' Armored Core, Bazooka only run? Dude, Bazooka only is easy. I've done Rocket only of the entirety of 3rd Gen, and done all of the 3 super bosses for Last Raven. One arm? That was basically no arms. It's fine. Treading the Mediator only run? Yeah, I heard that was... Okay, okay, you said Mediator. I was thinking of the Calculator. Yeah, Mediator only run sounds fun, though. Because you get, like, guns and words. You can just go be the space pirates. There you go. You have no arms? Sir, you are a text box. Of course you have no arms. But yeah, no, I heard that... I could be wrong on this, but wasn't the Calculator only run... deemed completely impossible until somebody figured out a like a really specific route, taking advantage of Zodiac compatibility sometime like around 2010 or so? When the Felseal DLC hits, are you doing a monster only run? Oh, very yes. Actually, I don't know how possible that is now that I think about it. That's going to be part of this chat and post random comments. Well, alrighty. But yeah, no, if it's possible, yes. From what I understand, you unlock them at certain points in the story. So, maybe? So you haven't tried Calc only? I mean, you could learn spells via crystals. Well, the idea is supposed to be that you can't use anything that the calculator doesn't already know. From what I understand, it was just, you can only use whatever was on the list. So it basically just became a really slow guy with a stick. So, it was specifically, like, even the gender came into, and it was something like Math Major or something that figured it out. It was like, everything going on specific days with specific Zodiac compatibilities would exactly get crits in certain places, and a certain number of them would have to be sacrificed at certain parts of the story. It was really specific. Like, crazy specific. But yeah, have you, NinjaBoat, have you played Felseal, out of curiosity? Because we've been doing a lot of that recently. Walk slowly and carry a big stick. Theodore Roosevelt, inventor of the FFT calculator only run. There we go. It's the what the hell? It's the Bull Moose run. There we go. all that killed by the bird. God dang it, it always comes in low. Again, still not seeing anything spiteful. Like Nento, I'm not a huge fan of the character art style. Okay. That comes up constantly, so let me just say right now. Yes, the art is a little weird at first. It grows on you. Like, it... Honestly, it makes me feel like FFTA through and through. But in terms of the mechanics, in terms of the way everything interacts, if you love FFT, and especially since you mentioned you're a challenge runner, that thing will be a wet dream. Seriously. Like, I absolutely adore doing challenge runs with anything in that genre. And holy crap, it has been mind-blowingly good. Yeah, the story gets better, but dude, it is amazing. Like, the mechanics and the way everything interacts is just mind-blowing. So basically, take FFT, right? Then, let's say the skill unlocks, instead of just being points, also follow a progression tree very similar to the newer XCOM games, right? The skills are still unlocked as you go, but basically you're still unlocking different classes through combinations of other classes. There's some classes hidden away through specific class marks, something similar to Tactics over there. You basically have... You have everything you could ever want out of the genre there. And pretty much everything can combine in some way. It's basically 2 current passives for the current class, and then 2 from any other class. Plus 1 reaction, plus 1 secondary skill tree. But everything interacts. It's legit just hard to describe. Not to mention, on top of that, you actually have difficulty options right off the bat for just what the AI is allowed to do, how aggressive it is, how much you want them to be able to do, how much of a permadeath system you want on there. Like, I've been doing just a straight-up permadeath system, permadeath run on that one. And, yeah, it's so good. It's so good. Yeah, cannot recommend it enough. Like, customization, difficulty, sure. Like, okay, so the item system in that one, basically, if you've played Dark Souls, it's basically Estus. Like, your items, you unlock different slots for those items, but those are the items that you have, right? So, sorry, it throws a little dry because I just drank a bunch of black coffee here, but but yeah, so you can customize everything from the fact that a lot of the game is not set. Like, whenever you get into a fight, the initial class of whatever unit is, and their initial position is about the only thing that's guaranteed to be that way. But when it comes to how many secondary skills they have, what kind of weird combinations they have, what kind of rare skills they might have worked in there, what kind of equipment they have, you can scale all of that. And so, okay, so then it's basically your gourd. Items work like a gourd. You don't have to worry about the logistics of going and picking up more items. That you just... Like, you start off with, I think, like 2 potions or something like that, and then you work your way up. You unlock different items, and then you just have them. Made by Souls people. It is, and I wish they would do the Souls thing and make more of them already. See, health regen augment helps on Ancient Elision. Oh, okay, we're talking Monster Hunter all of a sudden. Talking about that tree. Never played the Souls games? Missing out, man. Yeah, well, you know, we'll tell you what. We'll do Dark Souls 2 day tomorrow. Or, not tomorrow, but, actually, I don't think I'm doing anything tomorrow. But yeah, one of these days. Like, let's say next week or something. That's what I was trying to say. Should have sold them anyway. Whatever. I love DS2, man. It's so good. Again, DS2 gets doo-dooed on by the community a lot, but it's still my favorite. It's just... And yes, I have played Bloodborne. I love it. I have I technically played some Sekiro, but prefer watching it, to be honest. Been through all of Armored Core and all that kind of thing. Been through all the DSs, but DS2, man. I mean, granted, Armored Core 3 will always be on top of that list for FromSoft games, but when it comes to the Souls games, definitely 2 is my favorite. Tree, apparently stealing your cats. Dark Souls Last Raven. Now, if it was Dark Souls Last Raven, they'd be like, oh yeah, glad you were running a sword build this entire time. Go ahead and snipe these missiles out of this canyon using your frickin' daggers. Just figure it out. Can't help the monster. I was done with Monster Hunter World before it came out because I couldn't read the text. The game looked interesting, but not for me. The one on PSP, or the Freedom Unite's the only one that I kind of got into for a little bit. And then 3 Ultimate, I think it was? Or 3 something. Machine Gun Knife, yeah. Eventually we'll get through this part. Now, one death birdie, man. See, the frustrating part is that bird spawns at a very specific time towards the end there. World doesn't really like the older games. Oh, I know. It plays very differently. Honestly, a lot of the things about it just don't really work for me personally. I'm not saying it's a bad game or anything. Again, there's a lot of cool stuff going on there. Not my cup of tea. Frickin' birds! Stop ground hovering. Alright. That bird scrolled up the screen. Oh yeah, so, by the way, so as an example, Ninja, on the whole fell sale thing, because I was mentioning it to Vale earlier. Okay, so the thing with Felseal, when I was saying everything interacts, and it's just kind of making me think that I could do something like that in this particular scenario. I mean, like, for example, one of the skills, or one of the classes there, the Peddler, basically, or they basically specialize in, like, just using items. So for example, with them, they get one that doubles potency of items, another that basically allows you to use particular items with an AoE. So, for example, you have a standard throwing rock. You just start with a rock in everyone's inventory. And they can throw that rock, sure. At first it does like 20. After a while you can get it to 40, then 50. But then you get that guy, and suddenly it's like, okay, that rock suddenly does 100 and also can just basically be a grenade now. But then you go over to some of the other things where technically there's a gambler class that uses cards. Very similar to FFTA 2. But they can double in potency, and they can do some other little weird side effects. Or you combine it with, like, Alchemistic, for example. It's one that specializes in also just combining weird effects. They get little extra damage or little extra health off of all kinds of beneficial and damaging, just kind of damaging effects left and right. And you suddenly get this weird stat screen that pops up. I was like, oh yeah, this, each debuff has this particular chance of hitting. Also, it's going to give you a slight bit of damage based off this other thing. Also has a slight chance to miss individually on each particular case. Like, it's just weird to see all these effects going on at once. It's funny because with side effects, it's not necessarily something that's super amazing until suddenly it's the thing that makes the difference. But either way, these guys are such a pain to dodge. We'll get through this building, dang it. Standard issue throwing rock. Yes. It can become amazing. Like, seriously, I love that I'm at I've been doing my first blind run through of it, and been doing that permadeath there, and you get to been doing this kind of there's a kind of a bonus arena. I've been going through just to see what it does. Like right off the bat. It's like you see people going and combining all kinds of bizarre item effects. You see illusionists combining like a guaranteed crit on kill ability with a basically an illusionist ability. Going and combining crit builds with healing and that kind of thing. Because under certain circumstances, crits can be allowed to function next to abilities. So any ability can technically crit in its own way. It just everything interacts. It's so weird. Ah, it's nice. Monster Hunter is the real Dark Souls, and I mean, if you say so. I'll be honest, I'd much rather not sit there punching the same thing in the butt for about 45 minutes, but to each their own. That's actually probably the reason that I've never really cared for Monster Hunter very much. The whole locational damage and things like that is really cool. The way that you gotta go apply all these different buffs and everything else, that's always been fun, but... no, I know you get drops in Dark Souls too. I just mean, like, you go up to a thing and it's like, am I even hurting it, you know? A chain 45 minutes to 700. Well, that's what I mean. It's... pretty much every experience that I've had getting into it's been like, oh, you know, let me give this another try. Maybe I'll figure out what I missed last time. I'll go into it, and the first few little missions will be all well and good, you know, everything's feeling nice and hefty and beefy, and then it's like, oh, go fight that friggin' worm thing in the desert, and I need you to bring back, like, 8 of them, okay, thanks, bye. And then you go there, and it's like, okay, I've been stabbing this thing for an hour and a half, and it's still not dead, and I've used all my resources, and time's gonna run out. What the hell's going on here? And they're like, oh yeah, go use the shock traps on him, and then you use the shock traps on him, but it somewhat helps. But what they really mean is, we hope you brought 8 more of those things, because we're not giving you enough to make it by. Like, I get the idea. It's a cool idea. The premise is really neat. Just not personally a fan. Like, I respect it, but don't want to play it. Let's put it that way. Dark Souls 3, I've been farming Black Knights to get a great sword for 7 hours. How... Have you not been using anything to up your drop rate? I mean, honestly, that's one of the things I didn't really like about 3, that suddenly there's all these different mechanics on there, but... like, with 3, admittedly, stuff got a little bit janky. Drop rate? There's a drop rate modifier in every single one of them. Like, in DS1, it was based off of your humanity. So the more humanity collected, the more stuff you ended up getting. In DS2, it was based off of... you could buff it with certain items that you just found laying around. And in 3, I want to say it's coins. Wait, what were they running because that's silly? Yeah, I can't imagine a speedrun of Monster Hunter. That seems... How do you do that? Yeah, I don't like the little extra climbing animation at the top of the ladder. Let's rank 1 to 16. I mean, it could be like an Armored Core game. If you do no skip route, it's like 3 hours. If you go do 100%, that's like 20 hours. If you go and do an actual like skips allowed thing, it's like 30 minutes. So I think it's like 30 minutes, isn't it? Cat would know. 100% run was 5 hours and a half. Really? Of what? See, I'd believe it. Like, I know that there's certainly ways to make the game a lot better for yourself. So just the fact that you can do low-level runs and that kind of thing, that's like that kind of stuff I can definitely respect. Typically, I'd say that's the sign of a good game. That's actually the reason that I've been routing out that Tactics Ogre level 1 run. And you know what? I'll tell you what. I know I've been saying we've been starting that all week. I think we'll start that Monday. Provided nothing else randomly changes in the schedule or the world ends or something like that. Being a furry gets you instantly banned. No furries allowed. probably something along the lines of certain things not counting. Like, I know when there were speedruns of some Ultima games, there was usually a lot of overlooked stuff for the 100% routes, because it only ever checks if you got very specific things. Actually, there was a run of Super Highlight a little while ago that I was watching that technically completely forgets to check most of the items they needed to get. So despite the fact that you can, you could technically take forever to beat that game, I think they did it in like an hour 45 or something. It's probably something along the lines of maybe some items count as some other items or something. Although, you never know. Sometimes stuff just accelerates in a weird way. I was watching a speedrun of FFTA the other day, and apparently there was a route for that one at some point where they would just level all the way up to 50. Like, just over in the... if anyone remembers the Ice Wizard with the 2 orbs in that one, you just basically sit there and immediately beef yourself up for 10 XP up until you got level 50. Why would they not include a cutscene skip in that game? That seems mean. Alright, give it a little more. I feel like this coffee put me to sleep. This is the blackest coffee I got. Why is it... Alright, screw it. Chug time. Have to wait to join someone who watches their cutscene? Boo. Wait, how is cutscene skip not a thing? Again, it just seems like that should be there. Boo! Sounds like what Ubisoft did in the racy games. Maybe? I've been keeping track of what's been going on with them for a little while. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it was fun watching through those. I played a couple of them. Played 1, 2, and the PSP one. I mean, they're alright. Honestly, it feels very hand-holdy, if you ask me. Oh my goodness. Just make the jump, you dick. I'm dying to puddle water so much I'm starting to think you're playing Fell Seal again? Oh yeah. By the way, Ninja, if you try Fell Seal, bear in mind there is a drowning mechanic. It's actually hilarious how they introduce it too. Because a straight-up demigod shows up and he's like, oh yeah, these guys are attacking this town. He just plucks people, starts chucking them in a lake. It's great! Hold Janet constantly? Yeah. It makes sense in some cases, but man. Then again, so... I mentioned before, but been spite playing War of the Visions, that crappy mobile game, just to see if at any point in the story it ever actually requires any player input. As yeah, so far I am now in chapter 4 out of 6 of that crap. Still have yet to actually need to participate in a single fight of it. It's garbage. He's gonna laser beam me. But yeah. Funny part is, they have a bunch of challenges in there, so if somebody were interested in actually playing it as a strategy game for what limited options there were, I'm sure it could be okay for it. But, it definitely doesn't... Like, you gotta If you feel like really squeezing the rock, you can get some slight FFT-esque feeling out of it. If you go for the challenge modes and you insist that the game turn off autoplay for a little bit, you can sort of do some stuff, but again, the only actual challenge comes from doing the challenges. Yeah, I'll admit I've kind of been doing crap here all of a sudden because I chugged all that coffee and for some reason it just put me instantly to sleep. No clue. And yeah, so okay. Here's the thing. I've noticed one thing about its writing though, because I still keep popping in to see if the story stops like hoovering booty for a second to see if maybe there's something redeeming in there. And the funny part is that, yeah, they occasionally will have a moment. Like, they'll have a brief few sentences or so where it's like, oh, hey, look, they woke up from their coma and decided to stop just regurgitating tropes for a second. And so that'll continue for about, 2 sentences before they immediately dive back into being garbage for, like, no actual benefit or reason. There's no attempt to justify any of the fights whatsoever. One of them, I kid you not, is just a bunch of people are sitting having a conversation in a forest. Like, this was one of the recent ones. Because they're almost all like this, where everyone's just talking around, talking about the kind of just nothing plot. And then, all of a sudden, they're like, oh man, I guess we're just gonna go over there, and then it just goes over to a map where you're using a bunch of characters that don't even have to be there. They don't even have to be alive. They justify it as everybody's technically fighting using ghosts or some crap, and so I don't know how that's supposed to put any stakes on anything whatsoever. Yeah, definitely would recommend Fell Seal. 110%. The art style grows on you. The amount of customization is unreal. It's, yeah. God dang it! When you get to the bottom of the ladder, you just get stuck sometimes. Oh yeah, no, you can customize everything. Like, I think I've remade half the dang roster from Tactics Ogre in that one. Made a few FT characters, made a few Resident Evil characters. Like, it's just anything. You have so many options. It's crazy. Actually, funnily enough, you even have Pumpkin Stopheles from Tactics Ogre in there. Recently had Azelston permadie on me, but eh. Yeah, that one kind of sucked. Because he was doing so well. Yeah, Pumpkin Stopheles is basically immortal. He's just running a combination of Mirage, which is basically like Evade and what the hell was the other one called that nobody ever used? There we go. Now we got a Fireball. Maybe that'll help here. I see it's all customization. Very true. Very true. If you like the way Monster Hunter plays and you like customization, you really should give Armored Core a try. At least the older generations. By the time it got to 5, it was a little iffy. It kind of completely switched where it was going. But to be fair, again, it's not like it's 5's fault. The entire series has been one long thing of different sandboxes for all intents and purposes. Wow. These don't help at all. Wait, what? Annihilator, you saying random things again. Sorry, the Ravens again. Need to stop them. We need your credits to hire Ravens. You know they would, too. Everyone just gets a friggin' app alert on their phone. Would you like to PayPal Crest some money? Seems they're going up the ventilator shaft. The computer has sent its balls in. That friggin' ventilator shaft, man. I'm so glad that that's allowed to be lost. It saves so many runs. No. Yeah, this thing is a liability. The computer has sentient balls? It does, though. This computer and sentient balls? Oh, jeez. Yeah, the computer has a lot of sentient everything. I mean, if you think about it, the entirety of the game just kind of boils down to trying to destroy the computer's sentient shaft, so there you go. It's not wrong. It's just inappropriate. If you ever stop feeling like Poodles want to do a Genocide run of 2, that would be fun. Done that of 3 before. It's an interesting way to play. Just take out everybody that can be taken out in the arena. I think that's one of the things that I didn't like about 5 and Verdict Day, though. It's like you never really felt the impact of any of all that stuff in the world state. You were kind of forced into all the fights. It was never like, you can just leave this guy behind. And if you're mature enough, you'll be way too pure to play. What? And I just keep looking at the icon on my desktop every now and then, thinking, you know what, at some point we'll probably continue X Division. At some point we'll finish that up. So close to the end there. It's just frustration every time that we get going on that one. It's basically like this level, except it throws you back to the start, and then yeah, somebody mentions that you're not playing it good enough. Like, dude, if I'd have known that dang pink robots needed to be saved, I would have done that forever ago, and this run would have been long done. I'm just messing with you. Just never make a joke like yesterday. Because yeah, I've got no issues with dark humor ever, or weird humor. Usually appreciate that a good bit. Ninja Gaiden joke? Yeah, go for it. Never forget. And then, friggin' Ninja Gaiden, and one of them you friggin' fought Spider-Man and Batman. This design isn't very good, because it's all old. Nope. See, that's why they don't need the range thing. Like, they're already aggressive, and when they're charging with a range thing, there's not too much you can do to get out of the way. Again, you jump right, you get hit, you jump in place, you get hit, you jump left, you get hit. There's not... If you were able to adjust trajectory, that would be a lot more doable, but... Stop puking on me, sir. Come on, bird. Come on, bird, I know you're coming. Just I need to bait this guy away from the wall. That's just dickish. Yeah, I'm dead. Yeah, I was trying to go in there and just jump over him. Let's try some of these espresso beans. Maybe that'll help. Okay, yeah. So yeah, crunchy happens. Yeah, sorry, I thought I turned off the mic there, but didn't. But the hospital that my wife works has these dark chocolate espresso beans. It's delicious. Definitely will make you sick if you don't have if you got a weak stomach, but yeah, definitely not something to eat when you're sick, but man, them suckers will wake you up real good. Why? Okay. We do it again. Do it again, but better! Alright. Dark chocolate hurts my teeth. I try to melt it down like a carousel meltdown NEACs. Except for the chunky ones with all the round parts. Well, unless you're playing Verdict Day, in that case, it's just, if somebody has the 3-shot one, you just instantly die no matter what. Yeah, there's no design problems with including an insta-kill gun. Yeah, it's only got 3 shots in it, but come on. You just know. Yeah, people dual-wield them suckers and just pop in with a friggin' sniper tank, and then that's just it. Basically, you know how you got the LX tank being the absolute meta for Formula Front and all that kind of thing? Basically, it's that, but on a way larger scale. So, you'll just see a tank, usually they're painted to camouflage in with their background. But yeah, no. They will just park that thing somewhere, and they'll just have it set to AI. Because people want to have that thing reliably around. And so this thing will just sit in the back, and the entire fight goes from actually fighting anything to, okay, who is going to instantly drop to let us know where exactly this thing is? Because usually they're set up with ridiculously long-range scouting, a tinier lockbox than anybody would reasonably ever want to use, but then it's the AI, so it will basically perfectly track this thing, because it's basically just a smart gun. So it's just an instant death smart gun that's somewhere on the map. Like, I remember this one fight where we're going, it was the oil rig map. And basically you got some buildings and an oil rig there. And we get to the kind of around the end there. We beat most of the rest of it. And so we beat the other 3, but we can't figure out where this one guy is, where this last AI is sitting, so we're all just hiding behind a building. There's 4 left on the team, everything seems like it's going well, and just the person who was playing the operator for that one's like, yeah, just, I don't see where they are, maybe go over here, and there's like one spot that we haven't looked, so we all started going there. Instantly, the heaviest guy in the bunch is just gone. Just out of nowhere, it just goes from, like, I think at like 60,000 to 0 instantly. So, can't they send nukes in AC? Kind of, yeah. But yeah, so just gone. So the rest of us are hiding behind a wall there, trying to figure out what just happened. And so the guy still has no idea. Like, they have a rough idea of where this AI is, but that's about it. And so we're looking around to where it's supposed to be, can't see it. The next person gets impatient, pops out, instantly destroyed again. So the last two just like charge forward in that general direction. We're hoping to find something. No one even gets a shot off before he's got everyone else down. Like, uh, it's kind of nuts. I don't know who looked at that design. Like, yeah, you got to be a really high rank to actually even get that thing. Basically, you had to S rank most of the game to actually get the 3-shot Kurosawa. And it was specifically the customized version that was such a problem. Because I think they specifically specialized it for like 2 accuracy, 1 damage or something like that. But yeah, even though it had almost no shots, it didn't matter. It could be combined with almost anything to be an insta-kill. So, eh. Yeah, if they released Verdict Day on PC, I probably would still play it, though. The multiplayer was legitimately fun. I mean, I'd still say my favorite was probably For Answer, but that's only because, man, you could get into some crazy fights on that one. That one joke, man. This guy away. Oh, you dick. All the little details, Monster Hunter's like a Jedi Padawan thing. You need Obi-Wan to guide you. That's probably fair. There's a lot of stuff going on there. There's a lot to learn. Still kind of blows my mind that the 2 games that were made with the same document are RE Outbreak and Monster Hunter 1. They were both made to try and fill the same role, basically using the same general ideas. It's the whole reason that Outbreak has all these little separated zones. Dang it, go down the ladder, you dick! Don't kneel next to it. We have officially been on this one level for an hour and 10 minutes. Alright. Yeah, truth be told, if it wasn't for the text thing, I probably would be liking World more. From what I've played of it, it seemed interesting. But that tiny text is such a down spot for me personally. Because again, not everybody wants to play right on their screen. We have like it's just sitting on the dresser. We have a PS4 connected to it. This is true. Go down the ladder, you dink! But yeah, the premise of Dink Smallwood, if you've never played it, as to why it's great, it's literally just this random dude that's a pig farmer. Just, the first objective in the game is to figure out how to feed your pigs. They just go out, they go collect some lunch, and then they come back and they find out their entire place has been burned down. And then come to the conclusion that, well, they don't really have a house and old mother to take care of anymore, so they might as well try to get laid, so they notice that somebody in uniform's doing pretty alright, so they're like, well, time to go join the army. so, so then they just go start doing the whole adventure career thing, because they can't figure out how to join one, because there is no army. It's such a weird thing. Then there's a whole cult dedicated to a dead dragon carcass. If I were rich, I'll get you an 85-inch TV. Nice. Now, if only I had an apartment big enough to put that in. If I was rich, everybody gets a copy of Tactics Ogre and Fell Seal. 55-inch. I think we have one of those. Because somebody was getting rid of it for 20 bucks like a year and a half ago. It's amazing. Like, okay, quick little story break. So the only reason we got this this TV over here, Fell Seal's on sale, thinking about it, dude, go for it. Seriously, go for it. You know you want it. It's that good. I mean, I was seriously not expecting much going into it. I got it because it was on sale. Like, I'd been repeatedly going and look at it for years. Like, you know what? I've heard this has some pretty good options, but I don't know. That art looks super weird. Oh my god, man! After, like, the funny part is it kind of lures you into a false sense of being bad. Like, the initial scene is weird, but then you start noticing all the little references, all the little mechanics, all the everything, and suddenly it's like, okay, I know this. This is familiar, but this is new, and it's like, it's randomly generating new stuff of it. Need to have more. Need more. But yeah, no, it's really good. Is that a loot? What? What does that smell? What the rock is cooking? I don't know. Its smell is seething hate for this level. Okay, go up ladder. Don't trap me on the ladder. Don't do it! Don't do it, you dick! No! Why do they need a ranged attack? Although, you know what? If you think about it, maybe this was a reference to Tactics Ogre before it existed. Because think about it. With the two versions of the original Tactics Ogre there, throughout the entire game, like once you get to the very end, there's a massive incentive for you to suddenly ditch all of your armor in favor of just better weapons and better speed. So you know what? It was just referencing it before it even existed. You see, they're just going over here like, well, you know, we need more firepower, so we need to get naked. Speedo strat is the best one, obviously. Stick to Smug Agorist. Let's say I've got, let's see, on this one we've got Bridgemaster Warren, we've got the Sculptopus from March of the Black Queen, and we've got the Tactics Ogre Archer. Oh, for God's sake. No! Stop trapping that ladder, you terrible person. He's in a coma. This is what's happening in his head. Dreamt the ogre battle happened, but I was in my red Speedo. Jeez. It's not wrong. Speaking of, as far as FFT references, I love that the second tier ice ability for Fell Seal is basically just Stasis Sword, which honestly makes a whole lot of sense. Actually, One Vision added Stasis Sword to to Tactics Ogre. Actually, hell, Ravenous is basically Agrius entirely. Yeah, Ninja, you ever played Tactics Ogre out of curiosity? Always used to call that status sword growing up. Non-status sword. So yeah, there's a basically while it tried to combine the old Tactics Ogre with the stuff that people liked about FFT and whatever, by the end of it, it became kind of super grindy. So unless you were really, really into it, it tended to be a bit of a brick wall. But there is a mod called One Vision. I do challenge runs of it a good bit. Just downright incredible. Like it basically turns it mechanically similar to FFT. So like armor given consistently more health depending on its weight class and all that kind of thing. You definitely see a lot more of that kind of stuff going on. Just basically simplifies things to a more logical degree, while still keeping some of the interesting scaling mechanics and all that going on. See, the remake probably won't have the live stream bit. The first remake release is only Midgar. Man, the mechanics of it looked really cool though. Everything I've seen for the mechanics, it just looked really, really sweet. Don't forget to pause the game when Cloud enters live stream, and then play the remake of FFT to see what Cloud is up to, then go back to FF7. He's going off having adventures with Mustadio, man. What else would you do? Spells are line of sight. A rock block my fire spell. So basically what you're saying is it's FFT all over again. Although, again, not as bad as Tio in that regard. Like, oh, I'm sorry, this guy on the ground blocked your spell that's in the air. You want to hit that guy with a lightning bolt? Too bad. The person on the ground absorbed it. Didn't have a behind-the-shoulder camera? Yeah. I could not figure out the arrow mechanics of that one as a kid, but insisted on using archers, even though they were terrible. Soldier Bolt. Yes. Alright, come on. Alright, that's just gonna... It feels like this is boiling down to the AI RNG right now, as to whether or not they charge, and whether or not I have enough time to actually hit them with things. Because jumping over them seems like it should be a viable strategy, but then a lot of the time they just immediately just turn around and wreck you. Aw. Fixation Archer in games because mad archers weren't better in FFT. Have you tried the Cerebro mod, by the way? I have to say, like, FFT was... After a little while, like, it felt weird even doing challenge runs, because again, it all kind of came down to, well, here's how we know how to break it, so let's break it. And then 1.3 in randomizer. Dude, try Cerebro. Basically, it's a really well-made mod that tries to keep the vanilla kind of difficulty curve and general feel while adding a bunch of features from 1.3 and doing a bunch of quality of life improvements, as well as patching a lot of the kind of exploitable stuff. It's a really interesting one. I've been doing a monster run of it that I still have not finished since last year, but yeah, no, it's a really solid mod. It's just sandbagging. Okay, it doesn't do the sandbagging thing, just so you know. Like, it just basically adds things like Chain Lightning, for example, as an ability, just some of the cool ability stuff. Yeah, the sandbagging thing, 1.3 is... yeah. That is 1.3 in a nutshell. Everybody died, and then they lived, but then they died again, but they died so they could live again. Mario Brothers 3 never looked so hard. We'll get there, we'll get there. This isn't Mario's great uncle, man with beard. Looks suspiciously like Gildas. Should really just jumped. Yeah. Doesn't feel good. Getting older, remember playing Mario 3 a lot as a kid, then recently on Switch and felt like movement was off. Yeah, I think it's just because we all got used to more responsive controls. I had that same feeling with going through Sonic and Knuckles just recently, and like, I remember this being instant and crisp and everything else, but there's some delay here for sure. I'm pretty sure you could probably do the entire Night of the Round summon before you actually got through this part. But yeah, CTR is right. Forgot about that. Also, it's funny how this guy actually has a hole in his head. How can we get no delay in video games? Like he said, just play it on CTR. Or just emulate it, that usually does the job. What the hell? Do you see that? He just warped out of existence, popped into the ground because I climbed the ladder. That was just a bug, but it was hilarious. See, it was playing on Switch, so it has to be a new TV, but the Switch has different video modes. One is supposed to emulate the original screen better. No, CTR, like the old, what the hell did that stand for? Just like the old rounded screen Chunkus TVs, them ones. CRT, there we go. Sorry. On a side note, despite CTR getting Racing Game of the Year, anybody else that think it kind of sucked? Not in terms of the, like, what should have been the underlying mechanics. Most of them were interesting. But they have this weird rubber banding thing where the farther you are ahead, the more everybody in the back gets a speed boost. Up until you get to a certain point. And then basically if you break out of that rubber band range, nobody can ever do anything to catch up to you unless you actively screw up. But if you're only kind of leading, everybody's just gonna constantly just get sucked into each other like a giant black hole. It's so weird. Really weird mechanics on that one. Like, we've tried doing, you know, online game nights and whatever else, trying to all play that as a family and all that, but it just tended to get frustrating. VTV until it's fat. Those games are my thing. Yeah, honestly, not usually a fan of racing games either. The most I've ever played was this one NASCAR game back on the Genesis. but no, it was this thing where my wife and her cousin had basically played that a lot as kids. So we ended up getting it as a remake for her birthday last year, or getting the remake for her birthday last year, and it was all well and good. But then, yeah, the rubber banding mechanic became super clear, and then after a while, the only people online were the ultra top tier people, and basically there was a situation where they started punishing people for losing. So if you wanted to actually undo any of the whole unlocking system or anything like that, if you didn't finish within 30 seconds of the first one, you just got disqualified. So it was basically just logging on and getting disqualified all the time because people had all these bizarre situations figured out where it's like, oh, you speed boost and you drift sideways, and then you do that 3 times, and then you switch over to the other side, and then you deploy specific items on specific jumps to get these other little scaling speed boosts, and like, you just constantly never go out of this boost mode using all these bizarre maneuvers that nobody in their right mind would do unless they were completely dedicated to this game. So if you were trying to play it casually, no. Despite it being a like, family-friendly, casual game for everybody, they, like, hard punished anybody who wasn't super dedicated to it. I mean, I got pretty good at it after a little bit, trying to figure it out so that I could at least, get somewhere. Since that was just the thing we were doing at the time, I couldn't even finish within like a minute of the people that were online, even after figuring out most of these tricks. So I don't know what else they were employing exactly, but trying to watch more advanced runs of that thing were insanity. And yeah, screw this jump, honestly. Yeah, thank you for that, but seriously, what do I do here? Because he moves back and forth. There isn't enough time to actually get through him. There's not enough time to damage through him, that is. Fireballs do enough. They attack fast enough to be able to push through if there was slightly more space. Giving away my TV, it has broken settings. Sure, just go ahead and try and send it somewhere. You can't mail anything right now. Unless it's spam or a tiny letter. Let's see, theorize that Bloodborne teaches people how to play and enjoy Souls games by taking the shield away? Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's definitely a very liberating experience. And what's funny is that they actually tried to do that in DS2, but they didn't quite get it right. See, they tried to do it in DS2 by just weakening all the shields, so you had to go out of your way to actually get 100% reduction shield. 80% was the best one that you could start with, and then you could get up to a 90 if you went for the very heavy shield. If you went for the I think it was like the Eagle Tower Shield or something like that. And even then, most characters wouldn't even be able to use that one. Which was not a bad way of doing it, but just kind of felt a little weird at the time. Though, again, DS1 is kind of its own beast. Like, having that shield safety is kind of necessary to make a lot of that game work, I feel. I don't need to pan until a monster is dead. Like using Sword and Shield as a knight. I mean, there still is a shield in Bloodborne. It's just not very good. No! No, we could finally get through! Whatever. Let's do it again. I just noticed I'd long answered the question that I was just asking myself there. I can't help but notice that it's Night Guy's head on a stick. Or is that a Yoshi? What is that symbol? It looks like a Yoshi on a stick. Trying to do anything Dark Souls Disappointment? No, not really. Used to dodge dancing. See, and I was like my two-handed spears. Spears all the way, man. Spears and everything. Even if there is a one-handed spear, I will friggin' dual-wield that thing and have a shield on the back. I'm not even kidding. So, favorite build that I always remade in every Souls game was always the Wanderer trench coat with weird, like any kind of weird helmet I felt like wearing that day. Heavy arms and legs, and then just usually any equivalent of the Grass Crest shield on the back, just like any buff providing shield, with a halberd or glaive. Dual spears, double penetration, yes. Man, dual spears, one for all in Fell Seal. It's just hilarious. So, okay, so Ninja, there was this. I was trying to figure out what the deal was with dual wield and one for all specifically during one of the streams of that one. So one for all is basically an ability that says that you sacrifice your turn, but you will automatically get an attack against anyone that is within your range if anybody else takes any action against them in the next round. So, for example, somebody can run up and throw a defense down to basically turn it into a combo, and your guy will just go and immediately attack them. And you can combine that with dual-wielding guns and just like park them up somewhere, give them a bunch of equipment to reduce their speed so that their turn lasts longer, have them cast slow themselves, and then one for all. and then just like anytime somebody's attacking anyone else, they're just like bang bang, just every time. So this one time, I'm looking at this one build, and it just looks kind of weird. There's just this guy that comes in with 2 jousting lances, since again, all of it's just pretty much randomly generated as you're going along. Got wrecked by a knight with 1 for all and a spear on the tree level. He was parked within range 4 of my peeps. Yeah, and yeah, this guy just like on that stream there, this guy just comes in with dual wielding spears, puts on 1 for all, and then has a bunch of archers behind that just keep trying to snipe people nearby him. And he's just going along, just double stabbing everybody with these spears. It's just, oh, it's so good. It was so goofy. There's just the sheer goofiness of the combos is really just a joy, quite frankly. It's just a happy experience. Man! Does dual wield work with guns? Yes, it does. Dual works with guns, but not crossbows, and you can use dual wield and monkey grip at the same time for dual sledgehammers. Bow is harder in the older games. It is. Though, interestingly enough, I don't know if anyone here watches IMFA, but this guy made a build entirely beating Dark Souls 1 using only the bow punch animation. It was pretty good. And I feel like a large part of why bows are so underpowered in FFT, on a tangentially related note here, there's a decent... They're probably underpowered because of how utterly overpowered they were in Tactics Ogre. Just because, like, it seemed like a lot of the stuff that they constantly tended to overcorrect every time that anything continued on in those chains of games. Like, you take the bows in, like, in Tactics Ogre, right? And it's like, they're bar none the best class. So, like, okay, this crap needs a dead zone for one thing, so they give it that. And then it needs reduced power, so they give it that. And like, okay, so we put all of its power behind this charge ability that can't realistically ever be used. Okay, fantastic. So we've got that. Okay, it also needs a nerf in range. Okay, fine, we'll give it that. So we've basically just got a spitball launcher at this point. Whatever, that's fine. We got an entire class now. What about if they never miss? Okay, fine. We'll give them something. And then immediately, the Knight of Lotus comes out with kind of a similar idea. I forget how far apart they were, but they actually came out at pretty similar times, as I recall. And they're like, okay, so similar thing. We got to really nerf these archers hard, and they're like the single worst class in that game. Then the PSP remake comes out, and they're like, okay, we really mistreated those archers. We need to make them good. So suddenly, they're basically firing rocket launchers out of their bows. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. They scale with everything and have every elemental option and just have a guaranteed crit move and friggin' like almost guaranteed charm shots and all that kind of thing. No, they just get everything. They get nigh infinite range. Like, oh man. Yeah, TO on the PSP, like, the archers are so busted, it's hilarious. I kid you not. To give you an example, there was one casual run. I was doing a casual Iron Man run a little while ago. I have all these snazzy weapons on everybody else. Had this guy that was training on as all these different classes, ends up turning back into a basic soldier so he can have his double attack. We get into a fight where the level scales up. There's a bunch of moments in that game where, in the DLC areas, where the level just scales up wildly. Simply because they only had one area. Like, all the rest of the fights have a low version and a high version, and for those ones, they're like, screw it, we're on a budget, high version all the way. So it just suddenly scales up. So suddenly all my guys are on 30, and fight comes in, this golem runs up, is like, hey, sup, I'm like 45, how can I help you? So suddenly the soldier guy with his fancy wind sword has the frickin' Lombardia, has all this different stuff. Have another guy dual wielding the Brynhilder, and what the hell was the other one? I think like I had a Racian on him or something. It's like all these snazzy, fancy things. Yeah, all of it's doing nothing. It's literally doing 1 damage to the guy. In comes Canopus with his longbow. Does 400. Just like, it's like insta-killing the stuff that's 15 levels higher than him. Doesn't even matter. Just, nobody else can even get any of their abilities through. He's just in there laughing at it. Which, again, I know a lot of the mechanics of why that happened now, which is why that level 1 run's even going to be possible. But, yeah. We're still on the same level, by the way. I should really just grab a drink or something. That's probably why. Alright. I just keep thinking of Symphony of the Night right now. Just want to have my friggin' tornado sword. Just like rock in on this guy, swinging 15 times at once. Why can't we be playing Symphony of the Night right now? This dick with his 1 hit left to go. I forget what it's called right now. Why do you like Symphony? Because it's awesome, man. It's really good. I mean, the DS ones were arguably mechanically more advanced, but... Really? Well, I mean, it's got a lot of mechanics going on. All the items have interesting little behaviors. You got a sword that can cut 15 times at once. And it's just fun to move around in that one. Like, everything from the music to the movement to everything else just feels good. It just feels good. It's not balanced, I'll tell you that. But that's the thing. Games don't have to be balanced to be good. I mean, like, that's a constant thing I've had going back and forth between Vanilla Tactics Ogre and One Vision there. Like, One Vision is definitely the better balanced one and the one that actually makes sense. But original TO, occasionally you just go back to it, because sometimes you want something weird jank in there. Complaining it's the worst Metroidvania? What? I think they're just hating on it for the sake of hating on it. Because it... I mean, it practically kickstarted a new wave of Metroidvanias for a reason. Okay, that was just my bad. I hit the wrong button. And I think the kiddos might be getting up, so we might actually be ending on this level soon. Hope not. Alucard is arguably the most OP main 10 character in gaming. Yeah. But it's not like it was ever meant to be balanced. I mean, they literally start you off with endgame gear, and they're like, well, here you go, it got taken away, and he's like, well, whatever, screw it, I still got my powers. And like, no, we're taking those too. And like, well, screw it, I'll just get them back then, you dick. It just feels good to play. I don't know what you mean. Again, it's got a lot of interesting interactions. It's got a good feeling exploration. It's got interesting locations, got interesting bosses. Music is pretty fantastic. What's not to like? And getting puked on. God dang it. Yeah, I don't like the design of this particular zone at all. I can see why they would have thought on first pass that this was fine. Because technically taking one hit's all you really need to get through, and I'm sure there's probably a checkpoint on the other side. So if enough people get through it, you know, it just kind of comes down to luck as far as I say. Because if a bird spawns in your way, you can't really back off of attacking one of these guys, or else they will immediately ruin you. At least have a very high chance of doing so. Taking out this guy from the right here like this is the safe approach, but then can get ambushed from the left. And because there was still fire, I couldn't throw anything at that bird. Now he will go and prevent going to that ladder. They really didn't need that puke move either, because as reasonable as it is, like if they, I feel like the logic was, okay, they're not threatening enough by just running back and forth, we need them to do something, so they gave them a ranged move, and then they figured, okay, they got a ranged move, they got to do it downwards too. They said Arya Star was the better Vania. I mean, a lot of the... Okay, the Arya games were, again, arguably more mechanically advanced. They had more stuff. And yeah, Fusion was pretty awesome. But yeah, they're all good. I mean, depending on what you play in what order, you're gonna like different stuff. Like, for example, if I were to compare, like, let's say... hell. Like, if I were to compare, let's say, Tactics Ogre on the SNES and FFTA, like, both of them have, I would say, artwork in a similar category. Tactics Ogre might have more content in it. You know, FFTA would seem frustrating because of the law mechanic, would seem kind of limited in number of classes. You know, TO might seem limited in terms of not having a skill system and all that kind of thing. Like, there's a bunch of comparisons to be made left and right there, but again, they're both approaching the same kind of gameplay from a different angle, so it doesn't necessarily matter. When it comes to all kinds of different Metroidvanias, they all tend to play differently. I mean, like let's say a good bit of the RE games, for example, was running around and going and collecting all the monster souls and things like that, and that was its main gameplay hook, that you're basically Pokemoning yourself into being strong there. And it worked. It's a really cool thing. It's a really interesting reason to keep going back. For Symphony, a lot of it was just the weird item interactions you could do, and the fact that it's got all this, all these different movement options. Which again, one could argue that the RE games did better. But just point being, it wasn't the focus. The focus for that one was the location, was the movement, was the different items and interactions and things. It's just the same general idea of you explore, you find stuff, you get through a little farther in the maze, approach from a different angle. See, they really said straight up that all games after Symphony are only just like it and they are overrated. I tried to hear what they said, but all they did talk about was Metroid type of... It's the whole genre, though. That's the point. Those games feel good, and they're similar. I mean, that's kind of what genres are. They are similar games. Because a certain formula worked, and then some folks are looking at it and thinking, oh, you know what? I could do some interesting stuff with this. By the way, I know I keep just getting trapped in these different situations here, but I don't see a good, effective dodge. There might be something I'm missing, but I just don't see a good way to wiggle out of it. I mean, at the same time, a lot of people, like I said, were trying to tell me that War of the Visions was a good game. Scratch that, a game, and... I mean, I personally don't see it. It mostly just seems like you're playing videos of FFT in between telling the computer to go do grindy stuff. There really isn't a whole lot going on. I mean, sure, your abilities trigger every now and then, and there's some shadow of what was basically FFT at its core, but you're really better off just going and playing FFT, even if it's dated. Some would immediately look at all the graphics and everything and say, oh no, this is better than FFT because it's got the better graphics. And so, yeah, but that doesn't make the game. Like, oh, it's technically got more systems. That doesn't make it a better game. If the systems work with the setting, if it works with what they were trying to accomplish, if it gives you the right feeling for what you're trying to get done there, then yeah, sure. Like, for example, like, let's take the Ultima series. 9 was almost universally panned because it technically was 3D and it was this whole big marvel. But hell, the fact that they removed schedules and the fact that you couldn't make food and stuff like that anymore, I'm sorry, are you kidding me right now? What? Okay, so we didn't count as getting past that, but I think that's the last area according to the overworld map. Like the sprites in FFT? Yeah, they look good. There's only one way to define a game as better than other, and that's by the number and quality of the griffins. That's a fair point. In that case, currently, I'd say Tactics Ogre is the best game ever created. Obviously. Like March of the Black Queen, you just have squads of 5 griffins running around everywhere. Well, like, I guess best you could do is 2 griffins and a Beastmaster, but whatever. That. So someone look at Phantasy Star 4 graphics and dismiss it? Dude, Phantasy Star is amazing looking. I don't care what anyone says. Like, especially considering the technology at the time, like, it's a friggin' nostalgia boner and a half right there. Seriously, I've recently been going and messing around with one of the mods that I have on the list for that one. It's just it plays so good. They have a few randomizers set up for it. It just I don't know. I don't know how anyone can dismiss that one. I guess there's a certain historical appreciation of it, but man, it's so dang good. Alright, birds, could you please stop spawning at the worst possible time? That'd be great. Yeah, I feel like they intend for you to attack him from the other side of the wall. Wait, what made you uneasy? Has one get a boner and a half? Math, that's how. PSO2 is like 10 years old and still looks great. Yeah, that it does. And there's still people actively seeking out. I mean, hell, friggin' original Tactics Ogre is still getting mods to this day. Hell, Knight of Lotus recently got a rebalance mod. And people are still loving on that one. And that's a GBA game that people absolutely trashed when it came out because of the fact that its original music was really not its best thing. And here's the thing. Its music isn't even bad. After you give it a chance, it's hard to describe. Yes, on a mechanical level, it's not like... It's not going to be anything super ear-catching, but man, it sets the tone so well. Because it's supposed to be a dreary setting. It's not supposed to be all bright and happy and... Like, FFTA came out around the same time, and yeah, that one's got all kinds of happy tunes, because it's... I mean, it's a bunch of kids basically going through this world. Knight of Lotus is a bunch of friggin' essentially Roman legionaries showing up to take over an island and then realizing that they're getting screwed over by mermaids. So, like, it's so weird. Like, they're basically there as the bad guys, and then realizing, like, oh crap, maybe we're not necessarily the full bad guys. I complain about FPS. If the game goes over 5 FPS, then it's bad. Clearly, you don't need more than 5. Oh, get out of here. I touched the, I touched the thing, the platform slightly, so I didn't get to move. I'm gonna play laggy PC ports. Everyone's gotta have a thing. Alright, getting out of the house? It's a break in quarantine, sir. Please contact your nearest cop that isn't afraid of the virus. Get back in your quarantine box, cow. Man. It's gonna be so awkward visiting our relatives after this. Because, like, they were... Here's the thing, we were already kind of annoyed anytime they would go on about how Orange Guy is the second coming every time they went over there before all this. And, like, now he's actively betrayed our state and everything, and it's just like... God, they're still gonna defend him, just know it. But yeah, like, South Korea, I think, like, Turkey and all them, just, they're already back to functioning. But no. We had to pretend it didn't exist for like a month. And now it's everywhere. I hate politics. I really do. Let's see, if they're giving you a fine if you're out of their house for too long and too far. Yeah, they're threatening to do that here, but they're not, like, really enforcing it that much. It's mostly a, you know, if you're really being a dick right now, we're gonna have problems. But more than likely, you know, there really won't be. Left the house twice in the last 27 days? Wait, really? That's it? Must be stocking up well. Yeah, we've been going every, like, 3-4 days or so just to stock up on stuff. But then again, with two toddlers and a hell of a lot of animals, we got supplies to get, so... Oh my goodness. There's so many ways that this could have been improved from a gameplay perspective. Like, give these guys half as much health. Give them... I don't know. Give them no ranged attack. Give them something that's not this. Don't have the birds here, and it's an interesting puzzler. Have, because all the birds add is just basically a random "you're dead" function. Because they just come in and it's like, okay, that's it. You either kill it before the bird gets here, or you're dead. Are you taking one hit, or are you gone? That's the deal. Must see a doctor. Hopefully you didn't get it. This was the first one? What do you mean the first one? This is your first outing? Although the funny part is, speaking of furs, on the fail seal run, Mr. Cow, your were-cow is actually doing surprisingly okay now. He is still on 4 out of 5 injuries, but still. Oh, get out of here! I gotta think this must have come up in testing. Like, I know this was a quarter muncher, but god dang. I mean, if I'm missing a specific type of dodge here or something... Like, your movement's pretty clunky, so usually you're jumping at diagonals. You don't really have a whole lot of range of movement to actually get away from stuff, so a lot of dodges are already immediately out of the window. Speaking of furries, were-cows is a pretty solid transition that we should use whenever anyone starts talking about bad politics. This is true. This is true. But then we'd never-ending talking about were-cows, so... Or no one beats the new Doom on the hardest settings yet? No, but I saw somebody did a speed run of 30 minutes on that. Give it time. Let's see, got the DRM-free version of Spell Seal. I'll give it a try after I'm done with Dealies and PSOT 2. Sounds like a plan. Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing New Game Plus all difficulty up. Because, yeah, just fair warning, even though you've been with FFT a while, just let it be default. Just adjust it from default. Because I'm telling you, the AI can be nasty. It comes up with some serious filth, and not even late into the game either. Like, you know how you usually have that little luxury window where just nothing is a threat whatsoever? Not really. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, just fair warning. It'll give you some fun challenges. The first time that there was a tank just going and I think it was like what was it? An auto rebirth on a Templar combined with Fencer moves. So Fencers get a basically the revive, kind of like the Monk revive ability from FFT. While the Paladin is something, or rather, the Templar is basically similar to the Paladin from FFTA, but they had the ability to just go and keep resurrecting people, but then they had MP Shield as their reaction ability. So basically, they were just a mega tank. And on top of that, they had somebody just going and putting a bunch of buffs on him the whole time. Because they had an alchemistic behind him. It's like, oh man, it was so just beautifully brutal. Is there a mod to change stuff to Animal Crossing characters yet? What Wait, what? What do you mean change stuff to them? I'm pretty sure you could probably make Animal Crossing characters in Felseal if that's what you're asking. Oh, that puts the Doom guy in Hexen. Oh, nice. Nice. Didn't know that was actually still getting mods. I guess that makes sense. Everything's getting mods. It's great. Like I said, even Knight of Lotus gets mods, and nobody remembers Knight of Lotus, so that's good. Hell, friggin' Prince of Zenobia got a translation last year. Did anybody even Ogre Battle Tactics Ogre fans actually remember the Prince of Zenobia exists? Usually no. It was so obscure that nobody even knew about it. Hell, never even released in the States. Doom and Animal Crossing are kind of a thing now? Yep. Saw a bunch of things like a metal cover of Doom meets Animal Crossing and all that. The interesting things that a worldwide standstill will bring you. Why can Armored Core and Souls be a thing? It did. It was a thing for a little while. Actually, they were asking both Souls and Armored Core people what they thought of the art. Where there was a bunch of things where they basically had like giant mechanized Souls characters and like mini Soul mechs and stuff like that. Right. I think what I'm going to do, since we've gotten past this part so frickin' many times now, and I just don't want to keep redoing it, we're going to give it an artificial checkpoint right here. There we go. Because I feel like there really should be a checkpoint at the bottom of this crap. I'm actually not sure why it doesn't give you one. Oh, look at that. It never happened. I wouldn't call it elitism. It's just one sold far better than the other because it's a more understandable thing. Because again, how would you describe Armored Core? It's basically a simulator that uses fighting game mechanics. What is that spinny thing? Kind of feels like they didn't even have the hardware to make this particular section happen. Alright, so where's the boss? Oh, get out of here. Oh, right, we're just gonna do double bosses after all that? Oh, they expect you to redo all that? Oh my goodness, no. Not okay. I can't believe they would do that. Yeah, that's okay. Now we're getting into legitimately. It was just made by dicks. Yeah, if you didn't just straight up hate your audience, I don't know why you'd possibly stick double bosses at the end of this other gauntlet. Maybe they did. Honestly, it kind of reeks if they didn't test it. Had to make them hard so it seemed like they were worth the money. I guess, but... Alright, whatever, we'll save state it there. Now, don't get me wrong, I've got nothing against art games. I mean, obviously I freaking love the things, but this isn't necessarily hard as much as it is, like, it just takes away your options and says, ha, deal with it. Like right now, I can't fire more than 2 of these at any given time due to just game limitations. The only thing that can get away from their fireball is either a duck or a dodge. But they can move faster than you, so they can, well, just kind of outmaneuver you at any given point. If they decide to do the run, you're dead. The arcade version gave you a bit more movement. You were able to attack up and downwards. Oh yeah, couldn't you do that in the Super Nintendo version? Yeah, you can duck them. I mean, you can do that. It's a little bit slow to respond though. It's just you need like a dash move or something to actually get out of the way here. Especially because they pretty much force you to take these fireballs. I only know I gave it this one because this is the dickiest version. No hard feelings? All the hard feelings. There we go. It's dead. That time the RNG was nice. Yeah, not too much to be done about the charge. What? What the hell just happened there? Alright, and then he gets dressed again. Oh, that was the time? 2 seconds left? Nice. Not sure why we're collecting snowmen all of a sudden. Oh, good. Good. Anything. Any other weapon, please. What? Okay, that's legitimately hilarious. That's a game over for getting the key would be hilarious. Ah, it would be pretty fitting. Yay, we're officially in section 2 out of 5. Not really sure how they expected people to handle that one without attacking upwards. Wow. Just wow. Alright. Get out of here, Michael Jackson's. Bold of Taito to assume I have 4 friends. Want some Bubble Bobble? Stuff's pretty good. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're just getting hit at that point. I keep trying to jump in between them, but that's not looking realistic. Yeah, you'd have to do like a pretty much perfect attacking jump, I'd figure. Ooh, what is this? Oh my god, no, we're just back on fireballs again. And yeah, kiddos are up, so I think we'll give this one more quick run here, and then it's time to get down to business here. Yeah, I guess there's kind of an arc to him. Maybe he can get away. But okay, so that'll be that for today then. Thank you guys for stopping by. This was an interesting experience. We'll leave the save state here in case we gotta get back to, in case we feel like trying this again someday. So yeah, everyone stay healthy, like Vale's saying. Stay 6 feet away from everyone. Be paranoid as hell. And yeah, have yourselves a safe apocalypse. I'll see you guys later. And Mr. Ninja Guy, hope to see more for some Fell Seal or for some One Vision sometime. Actually, I was about to do Tactics Ogre level 1, probably starting Monday if time permits, but we'll see. Anyway, so you guys take care and stay safe.